Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Keith here from Commander Hoop Celtic. I'm here with three amigos: Scott McGill, Ryan Christie. I'm not going to say Ryan Christie, Liam Christie. You might as well be Rose with your chat anyway. And Gaz from Celtic Appreciation Page. So we have a lot to talk about. I think this could go on for an hour and a half with loads of comments coming through. The shock reaction. Well, some people are not shocked with Neil Lennon so-called resigning. Now, Scott, I'm going to go to yourself first. I was going to pick Gaz, but I'm going to go to you first because you came in first of all.
Back when you go, mate.
Did he resign or did he get sacked? That's the big question.
I think if it's down as resigning, it's to try and save a wee bit of his legacy for the fact that he's walked away of his own accord. But for me, for what I understood, for what people were telling me, it was actually the new CEO wasn't wanting him in charge for the fact that the season ticket renewal's coming out. That's what I'd heard. But if it says he's resigned, you just take it as it is now.
Well, how do you feel about it? How straight is a relief off the shoulders? Are you feel a bit sad the way it's gone with him?
It's kind of it is bittersweet, because you know what he has achieved over the years, and then this season has been a total dampener on the career that he's had in the last 20 years at Celtic. As a total dampener. And I don't know, he could have done better, but you know what his character's always been. He's always been determined. He's always been a fighter. I think that's what's in his head. Folk are saying he's been sinister towards the club because he's waiting on another job. I think it's what to do with his character. His own character wanted to keep him in that job for as long as he possibly could. And it's just landed the way it has.
Definitely. Gaz, what do you think? Replicate the same question that I've thrown to Scotty.
I definitely think there's been an agreement between the manager and because I don't think Neil, when you listen to him on Sunday, it sounded a bit desperate. It sounded as if he was clinging on to his job, but I definitely think there's been a settlement of some kind with his contract, just to kind of part ways now. But no, as I say, I was about when the story broke last night, and at the time it did seem to be just rumours at the time. But the fact that I think a couple of the newspapers had went public with it, I think then you kind of get the idea that it's gone. But definitely, I think there's somebody that's been unhappy in that first team that's maybe linked the story.
Do you know what? I'm going to go back to the Brendan Rodgers situation the night before Brendan Rodgers left, and I got the mail, and a family member of John Kennedy's leaked the story to a friend of mine that leaked it to me, and I put it up, and people start laughing at me. I would not be surprised John Kennedy was literally jizzing himself when he heard that he was taking the team in term basis for the rest of the season. Liam, what do you think?
Well, first of all, before I start rambling on, I'd like to wish I would like to wish him my good pal Gary's sister a speedy recovery. She's been in the hospital with COVID for 2 weeks, so I'd like to wish Guy and his family my best wishes. But first of all, I wasn't really surprised that Neil Lennon. I don't know if he got sacked or if he got. Or if he's resigned. I think it was mutual. I think he got together with Desmond and Peter Law, and they basically said to him, "It's not working out," and he's kind of said, "Well, it's better I leave now rather than the summer, because he's really got nothing to play for just now." And I think on Sunday it was just a bit of tongue-in-cheek talk when he was saying about, "Yeah, I'd like to be here next season." I think it was just tongue-in-cheek talk. I don't think he was really serious. I mean, he was laughing at the start of the interview. So, I'm looking forward to the future with Celtic. I'm hoping we get Eddie Howe as manager. I did say at one point I'd like Martin and Neil as manager, but we don't want to go backwards. We want somebody new.
100%. 100%. Scott, like he had the backing of the board. He came out many times and said it during interviews, even times when he was very irate towards the press, where he was getting scrutiny, where he couldn't answer the questions just out straight. Do you think the board, this is the board's biggest biggest regret not getting relieving of his duties earlier part of the season?
To be fair, you're saying he's got the backing of the board. Maybe he had the backing of the board for the job, but he never had the backing of the board anywhere else because nobody else showed face. It was always just Neil Lennon's face that was out there in front of getting interviewed in front of the cameras all the time. Fair enough. I've said previously that Cal McGregor, he's been up every time I've been beat. He's been right to the camera. He's done the interview as well. But it's in the boardroom, nobody's really appeared, I think, to kind of support him outside basically, well, the leaks. You're talking about the scrum. The scrum, I was going to say, well, it is the scrum. The Sun had the headline for what was the January review, which I think came from a leak inside the boardroom as well, to put the feelers out to see what the actual feeling was around Neil Lennon keeping the job until the summer. But I don't know, it's the same again last night though. Just talking about when you heard that Brendan Rodgers was leaving, where it came from. That's came from, I heard that came from Kennedy as well, eh? That's what I heard as well.
What do you think, guys?
He should be it though. He shouldn't be here, eh?
Aye, I totally agree. I think Kennedy's been given the bit a long time ago. His job role is defence coach, and I think we've got one of the worst defences in the Premier League. I know, you look at teams at the bottom like Ross County and Hamilton and that, but at the end of the day, how many goals have we leaked over the last 10 seasons, and it's just not been good enough. Defending for set pieces just a non-entity. I don't get what he gives to that club, and as I've said to you before many times that I believe that the story to be true, that that he's been given a job for life by Celtic. It seems to be unsackable because no matter who's came in, whether it's Dyler, Lennon twice and Brendan Rodgers, he seems to have stuck around. So even when there's been rumours of him taking maybe the Hibs job or the Motherwell job, I think there's definitely there's something going on there behind the scenes that he's not been let go. Because I would put Tommy McIntyre and Steve McManus in charge, and even throw Scott Brown in for the last 8 games as a kind of almost as a in the coaching side of things.
Great show. It's a great show. Liam, do you agree with him? Would you agree with Gaz there? And what Scott said as well about the whole Kennedy leak?
Yeah, I don't know if he's remember at the start of the season, but there was a couple of leaks leading up to the first Glasgow derby. We had the lineup leaked, so where's that come from? There's been
and the transfer link as well last season.
Yeah, it's been. I don't know who's done it. I mean, I'm not accusing anybody, but I mean, it just seems like a big coincidence for that's happened or not. So, I mean, the other night there, it just felt like the team weren't playing for the manager. They were just passing it across the byline, and it just felt like they just didn't want to play. They just didn't want to be on the park. So, I would like Stephen McManus and possibly Darnell Day as a coach, for the remainder of the season till we find out who's going to be the first team manager.
Do any of us have the fear that if Kennedy goes on 8 games, unbeaten run, beats Rangers in the 2 last games, that they'll even consider this lad? Because as you said, as Gaz says, he's like unsackable at Celtic.
Your new man coming in won't let that happen. I says this on Sunday night. He's wanting to come in and start with a bang. He's going to get as good a manager as Celtic can possibly aim for, and which they should be. They should be going for an elite manager. It's the best job in the world, isn't it? Well, it is anyway. It's the best job in the world, getting the Celtic job.
If we had the transfer key as Man City, God help us. We'd run them up.
We've got a bigger fan base than them anyway, so.
The empty ad. We all know that big time.
You're talking about there though. Kennedy keeping the job. Even if he does win all 8 games, he's never going to do it with a side that's got the confidence like this. The confidence is so low, it's unbelievable. It needs somebody to come in, pick it up, and change the whole system in the background as well. Nicky Hammond will be the next to follow Neil Lennon out the door, because you can't have the recruitment we've had over the summer and then again in January there. And he's produced a couple of good players, but it's not up to Celtic standard, especially what we got in the summer.
We're going to go into previous seasons where he actually won the fourth title. Is the jersey behind me, and then the 9th title as well. Like, this is not just about what has gone wrong. We're going to talk about good things as well, people as well. Don't have a pure damper. And today, it's a relief for most fans. Woke up this morning, I was like, holy shit, 8:30. Very similar to what happened with Lawwell. 8:30 announcement. Got to talk about Nicky Hammond, guys. You're the guy that's bringing this up to me at the start of the season about his recruitment. Has he got anything right?
I can't think of any player that's really kind of shown.
Besides Turnbull?
I would say so, and Turnbull's kind of surprised me almost, because I've got a wee bit of kind of, I don't mean an agenda against players for the Scottish Premier League. I just think you can get certain players like John McGinn that can go down there, Stuart Armstrong as well, that can go down there and really turn it on and really become a great player. And when Turnbull came to us, or rather when he was meant to come to us the first time, and the whole injury thing scuppered that, I genuinely said at the time, it doesn't matter because we'll go back in for him and we'll get him a bit cheaper probably. And we came back in for him and got him. So he's really surprised me, and he has probably been the standout. He's the one to build on. And I think somebody like an Eddie Howe, if he came in, would target Turnbull and kind of go, you're the one that's going to, that I'm going to build around, kind of thing. Because that's the kind of players that he likes, kind of thing.
I'm going to say just now, Liam, right, I know we were talking about Oyer, and I've said it to the two other lads as well on the podcast a few times. Oyer walks in the summer. We don't get like an Eddie Howe, a good manager like Rafa Benitez, or people I was talking about Steve Clark. Do you give David Turnbull the vice captaincy? Do you promote him because he's had that leadership with Motherwell? I know Motherwell's a completely different level to Celtic, but he has stepped up to the plate in some games, crucial games.
Yeah, I would say so, but it's a mix-up between him and Callum McGregor. I
mean Turnbull for a vice captain. So McGregor's more like he's going to get the captaincy anyway, because he's been there since day one.
Well, it all depends if Rooney wants to stay on for another year. They might. But I'm hoping like I said in the last podcast, I'm hoping that he goes into a coaching role next season, because he deserves that. He's earned it for the services provided to the club. But he might stay on for maybe half a year next season. You don't know, but I would like to see Turnbull in a captaincy role. Of course I would. But what I'm saying is, they might put Turnbull as a captain, maybe, but has he got that experience? Because he's just been in the club. He's just been in the club his first season, so it might be a bit unfair to Callum McGregor if he was still to stay on.
Definitely. I don't agree with you. I don't think James Forrest is even leadership material. He's only had the captain armband 3 times in his career at Celtic. A couple of pre-seasons. I just don't think he's at the level to be a captain. And no disrespect him, but he's better than doing his own job, which is pushing up the wings and providing goals and scoring goals. And that's what we want from James Forrest. We don't need that extra burden. And plus his injury record as well. We need someone that can actually play every game. And look at the likes of Callum McGregor playing 55 plus games in a row for Celtic is unbelievable.
I think Christopher Ayer should be offered the captain's role for next year. If Scott Brown is going to hang up his boots, he should be first in line. I think is almost as a bait to get him to sign a new deal, because I think he'd thrive on that.
What would you think? What would you think with that? You think Callum be feeling like he's being sure-handed by Celtic then?
Maybe, but at the same time, I think Callum will probably get it. But I think in terms of barking orders out and getting the team going, I think Christopher Ayer might be a better fit. He's still young enough, and I think he's got a wee bit more bite about him than what Callum has. And I think Callum's in the same category.
And look at the players. Look at the players Norway are producing in recent times as well. Unbelievable.
But I think Scott Brown might stay on another year, try and win the title back, and then chuck it. I don't think he'll want to go the way it's going now. I don't think he'll want to go in a low. I think he'll want to go in a high.
Bit of revenge, aye.
Back.
What do you think, Scott?
I think he'll go this year. Well, no go, but I think he'll take a back step I think he'll be more involved in the coaching if he's been offered a chance to get involved in that. But
kind of similar what happened with Ryan Giggs and United. You kind of played the 1 in 7 games, something like that.
Just kind of drop back in the scenes. Yeah, he'll still be there if you need him. But I think he needs to move on to give Celtic a chance to move on as well. How many times you heard the debate? We're looking for the Scott Brown replacement. Is this the Scott Brown replacement? Do you know what? If you're going to get a Scott Brown replacement, move him at the team. Give somebody else a run of games in that position. Maybe change the system. The system doesn't need to be like that because Scott Brown's in the team. But back to what Gaz was saying there about Ajer. You'd offer Ajer the vice captain because Callum McGregor has been there for how many years now? He's never left. He is, bar the fact he went to Notts County on loan, he is a one-club man. If you were to go down that route, he was still signed with Celtic. He deserves it at the end of the day. Callum McGregor is there every week. All right, maybe he doesn't show up as much this season as what people are wanting him to do, but how bad's the rest of the team been in stages? He's not a bad player overnight. He will come back to what he was. And as for Ajer, see if you want to keep him, if you get the right manager in, somebody that, again, at the elite level, boys like Ajer and Edward are going to stay at Celtic.
That's what I was about to say next to Liam. I was like, you know what, maybe with Lennon gone now, with his man management skills and the culture and the change of system going into next season, whoever we get, this might encourage the new boss to come in and keep these assets. Because Edward has another year left in his deal. Oyer has another year left in his deal. Rogers still has another year. Griffiths has another year. Now, personally, I don't want Griffiths. I think Griffiths should move on. I think it's time Griffiths moves on. We get a hungrier striker in, someone domestically. What do you think, Liam?
Well, yeah, I think I definitely think Griff's going to go away next year, whether it's at Hibs or maybe even a championship team. But he is getting to that age now.
Livingston, I'm putting my money on if he doesn't go to Hibs.
Well, I mean, Livingston maybe, but Livingston, apart from Effie Ambrose, they have got a young team. So, I think we're going to get a couple more strikers in. I think they'll keep Ajeti. And they'll see what he can do next season.
Clement alone.
I'm not sure about Kamal. I mean, he might get a run of games because it's near the end of the season. The league's pretty much done, but for what he's shown he's got a burst of pace, and he's shown that he can score goals. So, but he's just not getting the 90 minutes he deserves, you know. So, with Neil Lennon leaving, then I think that the team's going to be changed about differently.
Guys, I want to go with yourself here. Obviously, the news this morning about Lennon gone. Are you disappointed that they didn't make the bigger decision to get rid of Strachan and Kennedy at the same time, pay the trade them off?
It's interesting because I think if the difference would have been if Lennon had, I think if Lennon had went to another team, I think if he'd done a Brendan Rodgers and signed for another team, then I think possibly the coaching staff might have followed. But as I say, I wasn't surprised that Strachan and Kennedy didn't follow because obviously they'll pin the blame on Lennon.
Well, Lennon didn't want Strachan. Lennon wanted his own recruitment.
I think the trouble came when Damien Duff left and Gavin Strachan was brought in. Yep. I don't think that was a Neil Lennon decision. So whether that was the cause or part of the cause of the problems, but I think when the new guy comes in, they obviously know who they want to bring in, because I don't think they would have came to this decision if they didn't have somebody in mind. Do you know what I mean? I don't think their plan is to leave John Kennedy in charge for the next 8 games. I think he'll take maybe the next couple. They might bring a new manager in for the Rangers game. I don't know. And
do you think it will be someone that's out of work at the moment, or someone that's actually going to approach that's currently in work?
I think it will need to be somebody that's out of work now, because I think then it's a quick transition. Whereas if you're going to try and go and get somebody that's in a job, I don't see that being quick. I think I did mention a name last night to one of my mates. I think Stevie Clark's going to get it. after the Euros.
What do you think of the comment there by Steph?
I'd take Stratney in anyway. Aye, definitely.
Just until the end of the season?
The end of the season, aye, definitely.
I would.
On
Definitely.
On what Gary's saying there about Steve Clark. Steve Clark, I don't think would want to take the job. Remember when he was at Kilmarnock, he came out and he was talking about his family getting hit with sectarian abuse. He's not interested in that. He's wanting to stay as far away from the Celtic Rangers stuff as he possibly can. That was at Kilmarnock. How would he cope at Celtic? I don't think he's got an interest in it.
I think he's too defence-minded as well. I don't think he suits our style of play. He would definitely stop his face shitting goals, but I don't think he would suit us in terms of going to win trophies.
You need somebody that's going to play at the Celtic way, aren't you?
No Gavin iPad, no. He's upgraded.
An iPad and a phone and a laptop. That's our setup for next season. That's the way it's going.
We're getting our Just Eat orders in.
That's it. Oh, that Russian roulette picture the other night was absolutely comical, you know. But it's come to the stage where we've went past the laughter, we've went past the frustration. It should have happened. Like we've all had different opinions. You said Sparta Prague, Scott. Liam, you said Ross County League Cup. Guys, I think you said even though you were stuck by him, you said it won't happen, but you thought after Aberdeen 3-3, that was it.
Aye, definitely. I think. Listen, every manager can have their bad spells and all the rest of it. I think because, as I said to you the other day, I said to you Monday, if you take Ronnie Dial out of the equation and Brendan Rodgers comes in at an earlier stage and leaves at say 6 in a row, and Neil Lennon comes in and to complete the season and make it 7 or something, is he staying on then, knowing there's maybe 2 or 3 seasons to get to 10? I think he was more tempted the fact that he was so close to 10. He thought, I can do this, and it's just let him down. It's just, I think there's been a multitude of people that's let the club down, whether it's down to the manager, it's down to the board, it's down to Dermot Desmond. I think everybody's kind of let the club down up there.
Down to the laptop. I just want to say something. There's rumours going around that Neil Lennon's already took a job, and there's actual audio proof of it as well on this podcast. According, you got a job working for the Glasgow City Council, doing the grass in the background. Whoever's getting the grass cut. Who's cutting the grass?
That's what reminds me.
That is out your back. I heard Charlie Nicholas is sorting out with him. some good here and there, but now look, I wish Neil Lennon the very best. I think a lot of people have been disgraceful towards his way. I
would say so.
Like some of the stuff people are saying, don't let the door hit you on the way back out and all, and like this is what I picked him up and said, look, what about when he won these 5 titles? What were you saying then when you were in the pub having a few drinks, singing God Bless Neil Lennon? What were you singing when Neil Lennon brought the trophy off to the Green Brigade? What were you singing when something inside so strong? This guy went through death threats, bullets sent to his house, attacked by fans in a stadium, dealing with absolute sectarian abuse, had to leave the Northern Ireland team just to play for Celtic and manage Celtic. All this type of stuff people forget about. So it's easier for all these so-called fans that believe that he didn't do enough job to win 10 trophies as a manager. Say that he's
we're not sitting here pretending it's a Neil Lennon loving. Do you know what I mean?
It's not. But the facts here. He's won trophies.
We've already talked about the bad times that he's had this season, and it has only been this season that he's really had a bad run at kind of thing. But as I say, where were these fans shouting, give him the sack and he's an idiot and he's this and he's that, when he knocked out Barcelona out of Europe as a player and he beat Barcelona as a manager, and as you say, you win 10 titles as a player and manager.
Eight out of 10 fans, you go back to their Facebooks or whatever they had, any social media, they would have had Neil Lennon in their photos uploaded. God bless Neil Lennon. Even when things, 100%. But like when the results were gone wrong, they literally can't accept losing. And that's what the three of us have talked about this in different times. This is the gift of football. This is the gift of feeling horrible and coming back stronger.
Yeah, definitely, man.
It's like the Martin O'Neill. It's like the Martin O'Neill days when Martin O'Neill left and we had to rebuild the team. Everybody kind of felt, oh my God, what's going to happen next? Nobody was kind of sure. And you go, you get more dominance under Gordon Strachan, and you keep going for there. So it is all about, it is uncertain now, and we need to get a bit of certainty in by getting the right management in, the right coaching staff in, get the right recruitment in terms of a guy to sign players, Jane. So as I say, it is all a bit uncertain, it is a bit up in the air, but that's part and parcel of football. And everything comes to an end at some point.
That's it. Well, to be honest with you, this season, I think there was a lot of evidence there that he lost the dressing room. He lost the dressing room the way he was going on. As I said, one minute he was blaming the players, coming out and saying the players wanted to leave, and then the following day Scott Brown came out and said that it wasn't the players, it was the way that the team was put out. And he couldn't get a system. Decisions were made too late against Ferencváros, Liam.
Yeah, I would say that interview where he says that anybody that doesn't want to be here, leave. I think that was a really risky statement to come out with, because it came back to bite him in the arse. So, I mean, it could have went the other way. It could have motivated the players, but he should have fought before he spoke.
Behind closed doors, and then a week later come out with it.
Instead of going out to the press, because sometimes that's worked in managers' favours, but that team.
But he's not a Mourinho, or he's not the way Mourinho manipulate the press. He doesn't have that skill.
No, I mean, he doesn't have that at all. I mean, if anything, the press try and manipulate him more. They try and wind him up more, and it led to him walking off camera from the BBC the other night. Well, he doesn't like the BBC anyway, but that's not the point.
What do you think of that, Gaz? Gaz, you mentioned that to me the other night about he walked off.
The Ron McLean, it was Ron McLean who was interviewing him, and I don't think, and I know this is why you kind of need to keep the media on side. I think when you're at a big club like Celtic, I think you need to kind of you need to give them so much rope, kind of thing, to give them scoops, to give them headlines, for them to be first in the know almost. And I think when you start turning against them, like we have been doing in recent years, nobody's allowed an opinion. Charlie Nicholas gets it in the net constantly. Andy Walker constantly. I know Andy Walker's a bit of a dick, but but it's like you're not allowed to have an opinion that doesn't agree with Celtic's opinion, chatting, and that's what I'm saying. He was very, very snippy with Rob McLean the other night, and I just thought there was no need for it. It wasn't a misleading question. It was like, he was just simply asking, does he think he's going to be in charge next year? And he kind of just snapped and kind of like, I'm not answering any more questions. Walked away. It's just like, there's no need for it.
Yeah, it was just completely random. I mean, I'm watching the interview and he just randomly said, I'm not answering the question. And he said this in a recent interviews. Why are you asking me that? Well, it's their job to ask you that. They're the press, and you've got to be giving fans answers.
Aye.
Because they're paying your wages. Aye,
and the fact that he snaps so easily this season is basically the journalists and the media guys are brilliant. There's their headline. Neil Lennon, is under pressure, and Neil Lennon's this.
But you look at, I'm going to talk to Scott about this. You look back to Lawwell's statement when he came out with the video about the boy, and then Neil Lennon completely said a different opinion about the boy to the press. So we are going back to saying that leaks in the press. Obviously someone in the board is actually saying this out to the press to kind of get reaction from the fans. Is it a case that there was a broken relationship between Neil and parts of the board in January? In January, because we didn't get many signings in, but 2 players went in January.
I think they knew exactly what was happening in January, because they never went out and tried to sort the problems that we had. We've never, I've said this on Sunday as well, we've never had a winger all season because James Forrest's been injured. That's your right mid. You're talking left mid, you've got Elyounoussi always comes in on his right foot for the left hand side. If they wanted to back the manager at that point, which they say they were doing, they would have backed him financially or brought somebody in on loan to fill the gaps that we had in the team. But I think there's broken relationships all over the club. You again, you look at the fact that Lennon's left today. If he's resigned, you're talking the first team coach and the assistant manager have still stayed in a job. They should be the first people to go with them. If they're a team, they're obviously not a team. It's obviously individuals that we've got inside that dugout. And Gas hit the nail on the head earlier. Damien Duff looked like he was his man. And when he's left, there's been a disconnect in the full side.
You look what he's at the putting the pounds on the last year. You just like some games he looked deflated, looked like he was at to be on the sauce as well. And then even the Monday press conferences, he looked like he was on the sauce. Liam, like there's a case that he wasn't what he wanted. What he wanted to obviously have his own coaching staff. He got this lad from Peterborough with a laptop that had a mini connection to Celtic because his dad was the manager of Celtic back 10 years ago. Do you think it was just the raw end?
The whole laptop thing, I know we're going to a different day and age now. It'll probably work for other teams, but for Celtic it doesn't. I mean, I think that it just got to Neil Lennon in the end and he's just like, I've had enough, which is fair enough. I mean, it's a really stressful job. I mean, it's not something I would like to do. You know, I mean, like even with coaching experience, because I mean, you get in both sides are Celtic Raiders. Like if you're a player or if you're a manager, you're going to get shit for the fans all the time, whether it's online or whether it's out in the street. So I mean, it's a big. So basically, Neil Lennon has went out his way for this club, being a player, being a manager. So I think it's just as a case as time's up, and we need somebody that's neutral in, not somebody that's Celtic minded, somebody that's neutral.
Well, you look at February and March have always been strange months for Celtic when it comes to managerial appointments and confirming leave. And look at Gordon Strachan he decided back in March 2010, and on 29 that he was leaving. Mm-hmm. He was leaving at the end of the season. Martin O'Neill, when his wife got sick, he came out and said in March 2005 that he was leaving the club.
The difference in the two managers is the two of them, their last season, the two of them lost the league in the last day. Well, miles away for that now.
Well, Strachan didn't. Strachan got beaten horribly against Rangers.
Was he no the Hartley won the last day of the season? Ryan Hartley picked up the ball and they had put the rumour about Parkhead, no?
No.
I thought that was that one.
But what I'm going to say is forward. Where do we go forward with this? Like, you know, we have a game on Saturday. John Kennedy's going to be the dugout as the first team coach. Like, that hasn't, in my mind, and I know a lot of you are going to agree with me, in my mind, I don't think he's enough evidence to prove that he's good enough for that job. But I did say in my YouTube video last night, we gave it to Neil Lennon with a bit of coaching experience behind him because he was Neil Lennon. He was a 40 man. But John Kennedy has 4 or 5 times the amount of experience that Neil Lennon had when Neil Lennon got it from Tony Mowbray. That's what my fear about Kennedy is.
You're sitting there looking at Kennedy, though. If he was that good, he wouldn't be at Celtic anymore. If that's his ambition, was to be a manager. We've had him in doing the defence for years now. And Gaz stated this earlier. He's been there. He was there through Ronnie Dyler. During Ronnie Dyler, we couldn't defend then either, near the end of his tenure. And it's the same that's happening now. John Kennedy can't be anywhere near the club anymore, from my perspective anyway.
I think when you look at it as well, you know, in terms of personality, you're talking about Neil Lennon's a fiery character and that. John Kennedy, to me, and I think Aaron Stratton's the same from what I've heard him speaking, he's got the personality of a fly. Do you know what I mean? He just does nothing about the guy. He's very straight-laced, he's very stony-faced. You don't get much out of him. Even
with Neil Lennon's permanent appointment after the Scottish Cup, it was like a John Kennedy and Neil Lennon duo. It wasn't a Neil Lennon appointment. You look at the picture with the jersey presentation and all in Celtic Park. I really believe Kennedy's untouchable at this club. I really believe it.
I think if he comes in, if a new guy comes in, whoever it might be, and John Kennedy somehow manages to cling on to his job, then I think everybody will just be like, game's a bogey. Chatting, because what does this guy have for the club? The fact that he's still there.
I think that they should put him in as a reserve assistant manager for the races. You know what I mean? See when Ronnie Dyler got fired for the club, John Collins done the decent thing.
StreamYard
which I didn't expect. He basically said, right, well, if he's leaving, I'm leaving because if he's getting fired, then I'll leave or not because I came into the job with him. And that I respected John Collins for doing that.
You wonder if Kennedy's got naked pictures of Peter Loyal. That's how he's still in that job.
I don't think anybody has to see them.
Only laws that are only fans.
That's a scary thought, man.
Oh Jesus God! Do you know, no one's touched on this. I wonder. Well, obviously Lenny knew that he was resigning. I wonder yesterday in Lennoxtown he said his final goodbyes to the team, or would it have been today?
I think it would have been yesterday. I think he would have known by Sunday or Monday. But it's just, as I say, like I'm just looking at the players we've got out on loan. I mean, Olivier Nchamp's still a player. He's still a Celtic player. I know he's on loan at Marseille. Whether or know that materialises into a permanent move, I don't know. But in terms of who's going to come in, does he look at that and say, I want him back, I want him in that midfield? Jack Hendry in defence, he's doing well in Belgium.
Mm-hmm.
That looks like it might be a permanent move. Ball and goal he can get to as far away for Celtic in Glasgow as I'm.
Well, him and Neil Lennon could walk in the bar and Lanzarote together if they want.
I just think you've got Shved as well and Bio, who's still to come back. So,
Boyo's only scored five goals all season, though, guys.
But I mean, it's still. I don't think he got a fair crack at the whip at Celtic. Neither did Shved.
I'd sell Necham anyway. Look, Necham has a chance to play in his home country. Played the south of France, cracking stadium. The fans the Marseille fans are lunatics at the moment. Now we're not too far behind the way we went on. Certain of our fans went on this season, but what I'd say is it's going to be a massive rebuild job, and I think it's at the taking a lot of pressure off us. You know, we can move forward and say, right, the last few games, just put them in your head that we have 2 derbies to come. They're going to be strange derbies. Going to have an interim manager in charge, which Neil Lennon was an interim manager at that time when we played them 2 derbies at Ibrox. I think it was 1 derby or 2 derbies to be played against them when he took over. I think it was 1 derby.
2. No, it was the one we got beat 2-0.
And then we beat them. Reed never scored.
Aye.
Mm-hmm.
I think I was. I'm trying to think back there, man.
It's been a long time. That was kind of a season I wanted to forget about. Even getting beaten by Ross County in the Scottish Cup was just a bit of a, Ross County and Neil Lennon doesn't go down well, doesn't it? No. I just want to say to everyone that's watching on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, if you can subscribe to the channel, if you haven't, really appreciate it. We have around 20 minutes left of chatting. I want to talk about Neil Lennon's good moments. I know we've dwelled on the bad moments this season.
Let's cheer ourselves up.
That's it. Let's look at when he took the job. He took the job his 4th season. We were unlucky to not win the league. That we unfortunately lost the league last day of the season. We hammered Motherwell at home. Was it 3 or 4-0?
Aye, and they just so happened to be at Rugby Park, I think. And
they hammered
3 goals in 10 minutes.
Aye, something like that. Aye.
But we went on to win the Scottish Cup. I want to talk about the players that you bring in, like the likes of Hooper. You bring Stokesy in. Charlie McGrew was literally the baller that won us the league the following season. Fraser Foster, Kelvin Wilson, another player that's forgotten about. Victor Wanyama, James Forrest came through. People forget about what he did do in his first tender at Celtic. Kyle
Key lately. You've got a fair break of midfielders.
And look at the money that we sold these ballers for. Virgil van Dijk bringing as well. People forget about that. Like we're all quick to dwelling on this. Like as I said to someone the other night on the TikTok live, it goes, we're all stressing about, all upset because we didn't win the 10. Don't think of the 10. Just think of it as just a regular season. Don't think of the number what was going to be 10 in a row. Just think of it as a season where you just win the league and that was it.
The 10 started off as a laugh. When we were singing, when we were getting beat by, I think it was Juventus we were getting beat by, and the whole crowd just started singing, here we go, 10 in a row. So I think it was Juventus we were getting.
It was, yeah.
But I mean, it just started off as a laugh. So So I mean, I'm just going to think it's our regular season next season. Sure we got beat like this season, but I mean next season we're just going to do better than we did this season. I mean we're
Rangers could be like Liverpool next season. You know, get carried away and winning this league and fall to Sunders.
Mm-hmm.
It could happen.
I think you can't concentrate on them. You've got to concentrate on us. Every season we should concentrate on ourselves. It's up to us to win as many of the 38 games as we can each year. And whatever anybody else in the league does, we can't control that. We can only beat them on the Saturday or the Sunday whenever we play, whoever we play against. We can only take points off from them.
Right. Thomas, thanks very much for watching on YouTube. Len has massively damaged his legacy status. I think to fans that don't go back and look at how many games, how many trophies we won, big European nights under Neil Lennon, I think they forget about that. You know, they think about now this season. I don't think he's damaged his legacy at the club. I think this season he spoke as a manager. But this thing about like people are going all mad about being anti Neil Lennon tonight. He's one of the only two Celtic managers to do a double treble in the history. So you're going to complain about one trophy, losing one trophy, but yeah, went on to win. He won 5 trophies because Brendan Rodgers won the League Cup, argument's sake, that season.
I can remember the 2002-2003 season when we got to Seville, and we lost the league on the last day, I think, at Rugby Park. And I think we lost the League Cup final, maybe to Rangers. We went out early in the Scottish Cup. But that was one of the best seasons for me as a Celtic fan, despite the fact that we didn't pick up any silverware.
Like the Tommy Bourne season, that they were unfortunate to win the league.
The fact that the boys just put in such a heroic effort, and to come back for Seville after playing 120 minutes against Porto, a really good Porto side, it has to be said, to come back and hit 4 against Kilmarnock at Rugby Park, and obviously if Thompson smashes that penalty in, it goes to a playoff for the title, which would have been incredible. And I can remember just applauding them at the end and just feeling so proud. So in terms of this being a trophyless season, this doesn't have the same feeling as Pride because we played so badly, kind of thing.
Do you agree, Scott?
See, to be fair, I get where all the anger is coming towards them, but as you say yourself, mate, you go back, you look at all the games that you've had great memories for the European nights, like Barcelona at home.
Moscow.
It was Spartak Moscow away. Like, see that Spartak Moscow away game? That felt like a dream because of how early you kicked off. We hadn't won a European tie away from home in God knows how long. And then we went 1-0 up, and you're going, what's happening here?
He wasn't a happy man. He had to wear the purple babe on the sidelines because he liked showing off his jacket. I remember that. I remember that night. But like Samaras, Forrest, and Hooper scoring, that was all. I honestly didn't believe we could go to Moscow and that plastic pitch and get results. And we went there. We done it.
Nobody could believe you could go away from home in Europe and get a result.
Because look at the likes of Chelsea and Man United that went there in previous season, the Champions League, and didn't get results.
It's a hard place to go. Like, see, at that time, I think his management, the way he managed he had a team better.
Yeah, he had his team bedded. He actually had people that were he had these man management skills.
They were men that he had at that point, though. It's not the same kind of characters we've got in the dressing room now. It's a totally different generation that's in the dressing room, I feel. But you have got there, as you were talking about, the likes of that night against Barcelona. You've got the likes of Wanyama playing, Kelvin Wilson at the back. You've got like big strong guys. He's not had that kind of.
Miku was a winner.
Miku up front.
How did we beat Barcelona with Miku in the team? Seriously.
Because he got 10 off for Tony Watt.
What I'm gonna say is what could have made a difference this year could have been if he kept on Johnny Hayes. Look at what even people were saying about Scotty Sinclair when I compared to him and Sammy as legends. Keeping Johnny Hayes on Siminovic and Lustig. Now some people were arguing at the time they were dead woods, that he should have moved on. They were men. Like Lustig was a part of that team that went on to win multiple titles. We could have kept him on.
Yeah, I didn't agree with Johnny Hayes being released from the club because he was also a utility player. He'd play where you wanted him to play, and that's what we needed. See, when James Forrest was injured, like, we could have done with Hayes in right mid, because he'd play anywhere you wanted him to, and he was good. He would always put in a shift for you. That's what you do need at Celtic. See, I'd prefer if you were a good player or not, but see, as long as you're trying, you put a shift in, then I can't ask for any more for you. If you're playing for Celtic, you do try your best. But I mean, that team the other night, they weren't trying for the manager. So I mean, I'm using that as an example of them no trying. I mean, that's what the league's come down to.
I think Scott mentioned this the other night to me. Christie and Lennon. It looks like there's a broken relationship that was there.
Yeah, definitely. It's the same thing with Ncham. I think that they two fell out as well. They just didn't see eye to eye.
See, whoever we get in next, they could prove to get the best out of their players, the best out of Ncham that's away. Fair enough, the way he's went away on loan, with that interview after the Ferns Vanos game, where he's saying that there's players that don't want to be there. Well, it looks like it is Ncham, and it has got to be somebody else inside there as well. Do
you think Frimpong was one of them at the time?
I'd imagine the two of them were kind of pally. But the likes of whoever we get in, if we get a big name, they will be able to get better out of the players. The likes of Brendan Rodgers coming in when James Forrest was ready to leave. Look at how much a good game we got out of James Forrest. They got a cracking game out of James Forrest.
I think it's the more foreign players that are probably just fed up with it, that have done it in Scottish football, that want to move on as well, Scott. That's the problem here as well. Like Cham, Edwards. I 50-50. I think Oyer still has the passion that he still wants to be there, you know. That's the worry. What do you think, guys?
Aye, definitely. I think, as I said before, that this is a team of champions. It's a team of treble winners. You don't become bad players
invincibles
overnight. You don't become bad players overnight, and this team can still go and win the league next year. If you keep the same team next year, get somebody else different in charge, I believe you can go and possibly win the league again next year. Do you know what I mean? It's the players are there, and they're the right players. I think Christie gets a lot of abuse. He gets a lot of stick. But I think it's more down to this season, down to the management, the coaching staff. Players only getting on with the manager. And I think players like even Christie and Edward, I would probably pinpoint as being big players for us in the past and not really turning up a lot this season, even though Edward's top goal scorer in the Premiership. I think if you can get somebody else in, it doesn't matter who it is, you're going to get a better reaction out of them.
What do you think, Liam?
Well, basically, I do think it is down to management clashing with the team. I mean, we play this Saturday. I don't want to sound like a pure dick here, but anyway, I think that we'll see a difference on Saturday. I'm hoping we do.
More stress off them.
Yeah,
like, the league's completely done with now.
Yeah, I think we'll see hopefully we'll see a winning streak towards the end of the season, regardless how many games are left. I think there's about 9 games left now.
8 games.
8 games, aye. So if we could beat Rangers back to back, that'd be brilliant.
It depends on me. It depends if Kennedy's a problem though. It might not be Lennon.
This is what the tale of the story is. If it's gonna be, is he actually gonna try a different formation? Is he gonna stick? Is he gonna ring Brendan up or ring Ronnie up and say, "Hey, hello, what's the crack? What will I put out now since I have enough experience?"
What's he going to do? It's different though. It's the same voice that's inside the dressing room as when Lennon was there. It's just -1. You're not changing it up. Just Lennon's left. Get McManus in. Get O'Day. Get whoever you need that will fill the role until the end of the season.
I hear Paul the same is coming in as well.
I think you see it in any football club around the world. As soon as you've got a manager that's struggling to get victories or struggling to get results, and he leaves the club, the players all of a sudden, for instance, Man United, when David Moyes got sacked, Ryan Giggs came in and they went and won 4 or 5-0 the following week. And you're saying that's gutless. That proves that the players aren't playing for you. Do you know what I mean? That proves that the players are robbing the fans. They're screwing the fans. So you know, I think the players will definitely get a reaction. It just depends on whether he changes too much. He's got to play two up front. Whether it's Eddie and Griff or Eddie and Klamala, Eddie and Ayeti, who knows? But he needs to put his own stamp on the team for however long he's left in charge.
Good point by Chris Andrew on YouTube there. Lenny done great over the years. Just this season of all seasons been a nightmare now. Let's get going and get a top manager. I really believe. I don't think we're going to get the people that people keep asking for. I don't think we're going to get it. I think Eddie Howe. You have to get Eddie Howe with Tyndall, and that's the fact here. I seen someone suggesting Steve Bruce earlier on today. I was like, what? Gaz
listen, I'm a Newcastle fan, and listen, you can take him, but I would normally say take him, but no for Celtic, definitely no.
Does Frank Lampard give you enough evidence that he's good enough for the job, Gaz?
Sorry?
Fat Frank.
I think he's the kind of manager that could succeed at Celtic. I really do.
I think it's a propaganda stunt to do Gerrard versus Lampard. That's my honest opinion.
It's a seller of tickets and seller of TV rights, isn't it?
I think
that would put all the arses in the seats and all that. Sky Sports would have a field day with the trailers for the games and all that.
Lampard v Gerrard if Gerrard decides to stay. That's the thing. When you look
Paul Scholes going to go to Aberdeen.
when you look at Gerrard has 2 wins away in Europe, 2 European wins away for being Rangers' most successful manager in Europe. So I mean, he's 2 wins away. Still to win a European trophy. I think quite comical. He will get it, and listen, as I said, who would have thought Steven Gerrard would have came up here and been a success? I know technically he's not won the league yet. He's going to win the league, but that's the only trophy he has won in 3 seasons at Rangers. So who knows? But I think definitely Lampard could succeed up here if he'll just struggle with the transfer budget, though. That's the only thing.
Well, look, what I liked about Lampard was he used the youth system at Chelsea. Well, he had no choice because he had the transfer embargo. That's the thing. What do you think, Liam?
Yeah, I would like to see like a manager of his status like at Celtic, but the thing is, we're taking a risk with that. Are you wanting somebody with experience or right? Hold on, Lampard. What's
Will put.
That's me owned, man. Anyway, no, I would like to see Eddie Howe, and it's the most realistic option. It's a no-brainer, but the only way we'd be putting Lampard in is if we were to give money, to invest in fans being in. But do you think that with the Chelsea line, a lot of fans would buy a season book if Lampard was in?
I think that there lies the problem, mate.
What is Blues Brothers business?
Yeah.
It's a whole Chelsea. It's a whole Chelsea link that gets to a lot of fans. It doesn't bother me in the slightest. As I say, the fact that he's had to work with the youth system at Chelsea because of the transfer embargo, I think that might help him if Celtic go and move for him, because he'll only get the money that he's normally on at somewhere like Chelsea or Derby.
I'm going to go to Scott. Scott, we had Shay on the show. You and Shay done the show a few weeks ago for the Kilmarnock game. Good laugh we had that night. I actually sent the 3 years this Raf Rennick interview he done with one of the lads on Sky Sports, and he spoke quite well in it. Would you take Raf Rennick?
Mate, to be honest, I'd take anybody as long as they've came through the interview process, as long as it's done right, as long as...
Do you think there'll be many people that will put themselves forward for the Celtic job?
As I say,
considering all the shitstorm.
As I said at the start, it's the best job in the world for us. Sell it to them like that. You've got to look at the fact that they're going to get a chance of rebuilding a full squad. They're going to get to work with a new director of football. Everybody's starting from scratch. So it's going to be easy to sell, I think.
Listen, I think after this season, I think the Celtic fans would take Rolf Harris. I mean Ralph Ragnick. But it's as I say, like
Here's a question for you: especially, I'm going to ask guys. I'm going to ask the three of this. Out straight. Do you think there's any manager in that league that's good enough for that job?
In the Scottish League?
Aye.
No.
I would say so, no.
It's a lazy appointment for me, Very lazy.
But yeah, some people are suggesting Steve Clark that just got Scotland through the Euros by the skin of their teeth.
I think when you look at the whole Steve Clark rumour as well, I think I was getting absolutely tonto when we beat Serbia in penalties.
So was Scott, as you're saying.
Aye, way back.
Me too.
But as I say, like, he rode his luck in the games. See the games against Israel, the games against Serbia. He rode his luck with the subs. Do you know what I mean? I felt he made subs at the wrong time. I thought he waited too long to put certain people on. He shouldn't have taken people off. So I think
sounds like Neil Lennon.
Sounds like somebody we know.
Aye, to an extent. Well, we fit in well at Celtic with the substitutions, but as long as he doesn't try and take all in at Burnley, we'll be fine.
I will say this, but right, see the next manager that takes the job, right? This has been proven with Brendan Rodgers as well, right? Brendan Rodgers, let's not kid ourselves here. He had good success at Celtic, but he used Celtic as a stepping stone to get back.
Of course, most people do. Most people do anyway.
So, I mean, it is a stepping stone league for players and managers alike. So, but I mean, I don't mind that as long as I get success. I'm not bothered. I'm not complaining.
That's it. Definitely, that's it. Right. What does Stephen say? Stephen says, afternoon, lads. Finally, a bit of positivity within the club. Far too late, but we've had to look to the future now and put the season to the past. And at least our club, it wasn't liquidated.
I hate that. I think that's no offence to your man there, but I think it's quite cringy always bringing Rangers up. It's not to do with them. It's our season. It's us that have mucked up. Lost it.
Stephen Gerrard came out and said this morning, like, he was like, I'm not surprised that has happened to him. Not surprised over there. Like, we're looking at a laughing stock at the moment because the way the season has became an absolute shambles. You know, nightmare in every avenue that we played in. Like, I even with the Scottish Cup, when we won the Scottish Cup from last season, people were going like, yeah, but like, it's a little disappointment. Like, as I said to you before, what was the highlight game this season? What was the actual highlight game of this season? The League game?
It's got to be the Scottish Cup final from last season.
From last season.
I know, but that's the only highlight that there has been. See, if you go through the full list of things that have happened this year, it's absolutely diabolical, the results we've been getting. The drop points, the draws, again getting beat. It was at 4-1 against Sparta Prague at home and 4-1 away from home.
Aye.
Like, that's not acceptable for any Celtic manager. And the board should have took that into their own hands at the time and let him go. But we all thought that he was getting the Scottish Cup final when that was the last game.
Yeah, and then it went on to stage where there was
kicked on to
January review. Then it went on to this, and then he was unbelievable.
Do you know what? I think maybe Loyals obviously knew back from then that he was leaving at the end of the season, and he's wanted to use him as a stopgap. That would not surprise you if they're not wanting to spend the money and getting somebody else in because they knew there was going to be a new CEO and who would want a director of football.
I think in terms of director of football, I don't get it. I don't get why you need a director of football at a club. A director of football does nothing for me. Like Newcastle United were the first club, I think, in my opinion, to do it. When they brought in Dennis Wise, Mike Ashley.
Dennis Wise, Jesus Christ.
As director of
Now you're
football.
going back.
What he done for Newcastle, I don't know. You could, you just it's an unentity job. It's a job that shouldn't exist in a football club. It's a skive, And when you look at, I think it's Alex Ferguson at Man United. He's the director of football. When's the day turn up and a few charity events and tries to promote the club? That's not a job that you need to pay people for. And that can be a voluntary job, in my opinion. It's not a necessity. You should be going out and looking for managers, coaches, and even players that can win you titles. You don't need to be going out and looking for directors of football.
See, for me though, it takes away the fact that a CEO like the way Loyal did got too involved with the football side of it. From what you hear, the likes of him signing Shved and things like that. And
Bruni.
you need somebody that's going to be basically the middleman between the CEO and the management, who's going to take care of the football side and leave your man Mackay to deal with the financial side. I think that's the reason we need the director of football in.
I'll tell you though. It's the fact that we need to stop these projects as well, in terms of see these players that we bring in, like O'Connell, is it Luke O'Connell and
Justin
and
Bieber,
O'Connor.
Scouts Justin Bieber, yeah.
O'Connor from Man United.
These players that are brought in, and the boy that went to Dunfermline, I think, Afrolobi.
Yeah,
You know,
that got the racial abuse.
These players that are brought in as projects, but they never see the first team. What's the point?
There's Lenny. There's Lenny back at it again, lads.
You've had the same. You've had the same with Frimpong. Frimpong came in for that, and we've made money off it. It does work. In terms of look at the bigger clubs. Look at like the Man Cities and the Chelseas. They've been doing it for years now, bringing through players like that.
You just need to be giving these boys time. Caramel Dembele has been at Celtic since he was 10 years old, and I think he's played 3 games.
Maybe this is a late birthday present from now this week that Lennon's gone. He actually has a chance of getting into the club. I wonder, this is the big head scratcher now. Will Kennedy actually start using all of these youth players that are being talked about the last couple of weeks? What do you think, Liam?
Well, I think that it could be a really good thing, because I think what Peter Law was doing was, his plan was to keep his lane as much as he could till a new chairman was brought in, because he knew he was leaving. He knew that he lost the fans' respect for him, but he's going to. I think a new chairman's going to totally start from scratch with a new club. I think he's going to bring in a chief scout. I think he's just going to bring in full backroom staff. I think Kennedy will be away near the end of the season. I do think that, but I mean, I'm just kind of assuming, just because there's a new chairman in that, this new chairman's got a history of investing highly in the SRU. He did invest quite a lot, especially with the coach. So I'm hoping this chairman does spend, but doesn't overspend. Obviously,
will there be money available for him to spend? The type of money that we can attract players besides outside Scotland to come in and actually they want to play it for short and actually win this title back, as Gaz was saying, should be going all out and going for the title again.
Yeah, but I think what Celtic are wanting to do, they're wanting to have a decent European run. But like I said to you,
with that squad,
like I said to you, I wouldn't want to go to the Champions League. I'd prefer if we went to Europa League, because that's a level we're at just now. Not unless we've got more leaders in the team. I mean, Scott Brown, his legs aren't there anymore.
It's going to kill Celtic fans that if we don't qualify for the Champions League and they're in the Champions League, it's going to kill us, even though they've had that chance. What do you think, Scott?
We've been. I was going to swear there. We've been really, really poor in the qualifiers over the past 10 years for getting into the Champions League, and I think I agree with Liam. Europa League's our level. If we're going to develop players, you're better playing in the Europa League anyway, because you want to play against players closer to your own level to better yourself. Instead of, how many times did you go into the Champions League and you got hammered? There's the PSG games, the Barcelona games. You're on to hiding to nothing at points. It's Europa League for us.
It's like giving your granny the PlayStation control and putting FIFA on world class.
Pretty much, aye.
That's what it's like. Guys, would you agree with that point? That would you think? I know we've talked about before that Celtic are Europa League standard. What we done previous season in Europa League. I know Scott went to Rome and literally wrecked the place with him and Gianni. But Europa League is the best place to be for us at the moment.
Definitely. And the thing is with Europa League, I think it was often seen as obviously as the poor
the dreading tournament.
But when you look at the quality of the clubs that's been in it in the last few years, Jane, I mean, we topped a group that had Lazio and
Rennes.
Rennes, sorry.
And Cluj.
Cluj.
Aye, we were in almost like a Champions League group some years, and as Scott says, you don't want to go the Champions League and just make up the numbers. You want to go and compete. There's no point in going and taking a 6 and 7 nil mauling off of teams like Barca and PSG.
And taking 20,000 fans over to Munich for a piss up, and we get hammered. It's not worth it.
Of course, it's great for the fans. Listen, to go to these places like Munich and Barcelona and Paris and all the rest of it. But at the end of the day, you want to go to places like Lazio, and you get a result. And oh my God, the scenes in Lazio last year were unbelievable. Scenes in Rome last year.
What do you expect? Scott was streaking on the middle of the pitch.
Okay, that's a rumour.
With his guitar around him.
It's all speculation.
No, but you're right though. You want to go away with your team, and you want to go and see us getting results. That's what you want to do. You didn't want to go away for the carry on just for the sake of it. You want to go away and see Celtic progressing, as I said, and getting better.
As you said, Spartak Moscow, like who would have thought? But if you go to like the place of these Europa League, you build a project. So Don McCoy comes in now and says, right, Eddie Howe, we'll go for Eddie Howe. We'll get Steve Tyndall. I always say Tinder for some reason. Stephen Tyndall.
Turn your apps off.
That's an application. But Russian roulette. But you go for Eddie Howe. You give him a 3-year plan. You let him go out and give him 15 million kitty, sell Edward, sell whatever you make. If Edward doesn't want to be at the club, say the Neil Lennon quote, if you don't want to play with a short, move on. We're bigger than this. We don't need people that want to play. So you build a plan, you build your European qualification. So if it's not qualification to Champions League, you get dumped in Europa League, you have a good run, you go into that like better than what you done the previous season, get seeding 22 goals or whatever it was, go in and get a good defensive coach and build the team around Oyer, build the team around Sorrow, Turnbull, McGregor, get these boys up and say, look at lads, that was shit, it was last season, let's come back. Give them a similarity, let them go away to a training camp for 3 weeks, let them go to, if things are open back up normal in May or June 19th, as Boris Johnson's birthday is, where everything is going to be June 19th. I know it's different in Scotland, but give them something that what Jock Stein done back in the past. Give them that training camp away. Let them mold as a team, as a new set of lads. Like I know they go to Austria every year. If they need that, do that.
Don't let them go to Dubai, but for God's sake.
No, we're not going to Dubai. They can go. I heard they're going to Ayrshire for the week.
All right, come.
Didn't they all coach for the weekend? That's it. Aye.
For me though, they've still got a good spine in the team. Out of all the players you just mentioned there, we've still got a good spine in the team. You just need to work around about that, whoever comes in. Because
they make it exciting, their names. Them names, they have quality. And we're gonna have a boy that's gonna come back, Jamesy, that could be stronger than ever. This could be a massive step for Mikey Johnson's development as a player as well, if he's gonna actually be in there.
For me, I don't know how we don't wait and go for the likes of Martinez. I know I says I wouldn't like to pick a manager, but see the likes of that's aiming high. They're first in the world. See if they go and win the Euros, still go for them. You wouldn't care. Just get that in.
Pay the 14 million.
If you don't ask, you don't get.
Shy Wayne's don't get any sweeties.
Aye.
Jesus.
It's the truth though. If we didn't go for a manager at high caliber, then what we expecting? We're just going to get the same as usual.
That's it. We have the tails there. We have to see.
Who would have thought we would have got Brendan Rodgers?
Well, that's it.
I would have thought it a million years, man. But
I still remember the day that got announced. It was everybody remembers.
I was at Celtic Park that day, and it was the day after, or a couple of days after. They'd lost the Scottish Cup final to Hibs in the last minute, and it was just everything just seemed like it was the best thing in the world. Do you know what I mean? It was just incredible. It was an incredible atmosphere. I've not seen scenes like that at Celtic Park in my lifetime. It was like something at the Bernabeu. What about the Robbie Keane announcement? That was serious enough when he got announced at midnight. That was all right.
You're just trying to make Dublin relevant here.
You have the jersey on.
But no, it's just I've never seen. I think it was something like 13,000 fans turned up. They had to open the turnstiles and let the fans in. I mean, it was incredible. And you're not really going to see
Cristiano Ronaldo, was it?
If Eddie Howe comes in, you're not going to see the kind of scenes. It would need to be a massive, massive name.
But Eddie Howe, well, you look at well, fair enough. Brendan Rodgers got Liverpool to second place. He done well, but Eddie Howe has been around long enough as like when Rodgers was. You think about the same, like, fair enough, he didn't win much silverware. I think he won the championship with Bournemouth.
In terms of marquee signings, in terms of marquee names, I think if somebody like Rafa Benitez turns up, rocks up in Glasgow, then I think you see the kind of scenes that Rodgers got. But I don't see it as much with Eddie Howe. But I don't know. I could be wrong, but I just don't get this man in.
Can you imagine him standing in the centre circle doing keepy uppies?
Paul the same presenting the ball to him. Like we need. You're thinking in director of football. I think get someone like him in that actually knows the club inside out, something like that. I know you're having a joke, but okay. I think we need to get away from this all Celtic relation stuff. That we need to get a Celtic related manager in, former player, stuff like that. I know people are saying Martinez with Sean Maloney background perspective. It's not a bad shout, but I want to see in the comments, who does people actually realistically think that we can get?
There's your man there on YouTube there, Dan M. He's saying as well. He's copying me. Well, he's not copying me. He's saying the same as me. Martinez, his wife is Scottish. Maloney's got Celtic in him. I know you're saying stay away from the Celtic, but Maloney could convince him to come across.
I think when you see Maloney on Sky Sports, I'm trying to think the game we were playing. It was a Celtic game. I can't remember if it's Mirren or not. But
give me.
It was on the gantry. He spoke really, really well. Really intelligent boy. Do you know what I mean? Doing his coaching badges and doing really well. Somebody like him, almost an assistant manager, could do really well. I think.
Right. For example, right, Eddie Howe. Eddie Howe's a prime example, right? Eddie Howe's out of work at the moment. Argument's sake, this is a hard one to pick because there's different clubs in the Premier League. Just say Fulham stay up. Say Fulham were 15th or 16th this season, they stay up, right? Scott Parker leaves. Eddie Howe's been linked with the job, and he's been linked with the Celtic job. How do you sell the Celtic brand to Eddie Howe, even though he could be offered maybe triple the wages at Fulham? What do you do, guys? How do you sell it?
Well, basically, the fact that we are going to win more trophies in Fulham. Even if you're not guaranteed that with it. Season, you're guaranteed to win. You're guaranteed to get more success than you would do at Fulham. Okay,
right. That's one thing, right? So you have another 4 to go, right? This is what we're dealing with on a regular basis when we're going for managers, because these so-called marquee managers will always piss off to the Premier League because they're getting double amount of wages and probably get the sack 3 or 4 months later when things go wrong. So, Liam, what would be another one for you?
Chance of European football managerial experience with Celtic, because if we qualify, then obviously, if we qualify for Champions League, it would be a miracle. But Europa League would do. I mean, he'd have that in his resume if he has took part in a European tournament. So that's also good as well with his resume in the future. So I think that's appealing to quite a lot of managers when they join Celtic.
100%. Scott, what do you think would be a selling tool?
Well, I know this gets branded a bit too much, the word legend, but you would become a living legend. How many Celtic players, Celtic managers, ex-Celtic players, ex-Celtic managers do you hear walking about random places in the world and people come up to them and speak
look at Wayne Johansson. Wayne Johansson said we still got about
metal. There was an ex-player, I can't remember who it was now, was in Australia, and somebody came up and started speaking to him about Celtic. I was in Ibiza in Ocean Beach Club, and I was sitting next to Kelvin Wilson, and I never gave him a minute's peace. I just wanted to speak about Celtic to him. Do you know what I mean? Like, no, but that's the mentality of a Celtic fan. You're not going to forget the people who come in and they make a name for themselves and they do well for the club. It'll always stick.
Right. Guys, your turn. What's another one? So you said 3 ones. Like, I'm forgetting about the biggest one here. The biggest one.
Don't know. I mean, I would say, obviously, I know Scott's touched on the fans, in terms of being recognised worldwide. But just in terms of the fan base, how loyal the fan base can be, and I know it's a bit hanging because
how loyal they can be, and
if things are going well, but listen, I think next season's totally different to this season because the 10 in a row's gone. We need to start again. Whatever it is we're aiming for. If you've got a manager that comes in and Eddie Howe that comes in and wins his first 5 or 10 games, fans are like signing their name in the stand. Do you know what I mean? And for a manager to hear that, you don't necessarily get that in the Premier League every week. Do you know what I mean? I think that kind of level of adulation that you don't get elsewhere. I think you miss that. Do you know what I mean? And Scott Sinclair said it recently. He said when he was at Celtic, the fact that when I heard that song, when I heard the Scott Sinclair song, I was buzzing every time I went on the park. Do you know what I mean? And he's not going to get that at Preston. Do you know what I mean?
Another thing you can go on though is the fact that you're going to have the biggest budget in the league, and you're meant to have the best academy in the country as well. They're two massive things that you can play on.
Brilliant,
massive.
It's the thing is you haven't said the most. What sold it to me that loved Celtic is you've got 60,000. I know you said the fans 60,000 seat stadium. Fuck me, when that is full and rocking, there is nowhere better in the world for a football match than Celtic Park. Gives me the shivers in talking about
that. The disco lights, mate.
That alone sells it for me. You know, like this is a club that makes a massive margin when it comes to merchandise. Look at the Adidas deal, fortune. I'm sure they made enough money back off the Adidas deal that they so-called they were losing profits on. Everybody's bought Adidas Clubber this year. I don't know how much you spend on Adidas Clubber, but like it's been crazy.
No, well, see, to be fair, the Adidas thing was a big slip up for me as well. See when they came up with the slogan, only for second best. That's head in your hand stuff. That's just shot us clean on the foot for the rest of the season. But,
well, like, see, when you're talking about 60,000 fans, we've all been to European nights, right? See that Champions League music hits. We're the only team
that sings over it.
That actually goes mental. I mean, like, you just can't hear anything. And I don't remember what game it was. It was
Bucha Mönchengladbach.
Yeah, I wasn't at the game, but I was watching TV, and the referee was just like looking a bit like, "Oh my god!" And the players were intimidated because they were like, they never seen this before. And well, obviously, a away team, like, they've not been playing much European football recently. They went to Celtic, and they were just like, "Oh shit."
you hear Rio Ferdinand talking about coming across for a Champions League night. And that's it. I'm sure he said that within the first 10 minutes it was kind of like a rabbit caught in the headlights because the atmosphere was that incredible.
Yeah, he is a big Celtic fan as well as a Man United fan.
Aye, we've got that behind us, yeah. We've got that behind us.
Sean Dyche, would you take him? Even though I know everybody's like, oh, he's very defensive because he's managing a club that's fighting for relegation every season. Would you take him? Would you think he'd be a decent addition? He knows how to use the youth.
No, for me. See, for the fact that, again, as you're talking about wanting somebody that's in a job, see if you're going for somebody that's in a job, you go higher than Sean Dyche. Not a chance you go for the Burnley manager. I've said it already, aim as high as you possibly can. You're Glasgow Celtic. You've got one of the biggest fan bases in the world. Go for it.
Yeah, I don't think that would be appealing to Celtic fans to have the Burnley manager. I mean, no offence to him. I mean, Burnley, they do give big teams a good game in the Premiership, and that's why they're where they are. But I mean, I don't think that'd be appealing. At Celtic, you want a manager that's going to be appealing to the fans, just like Brendan Rodgers. But you'll never get 13,000 people cheering on a manager when he gets inducted into the managerial position at Celtic. You'll never get that again. No, unless he was actually really Celtic minded, but I think they're going to go neutral. I mean, I just looked in a website there, and obviously John Kennedy's favourite to go in as manager this season, but
obviously he's gonna get it for this season, but like long term, someone actually said this the other day when I wished Mick McCarthy a happy birthday. People are like, why did you not go for Mick McCarthy?
Yeah,
Loads of
Mick
experience.
McCarthy, he's got loads of experience. He was a Ireland international.
He played for Celtic.
Yep, definitely. How many years was he playing for Celtic? Was it 2?
2.5 years, yeah.
2. I am so, but they're getting to. They mention Eddie Howe because obviously he's a neutral manager. He's not Celtic minded. He's not been. He's never had any relations with the club previously. So I think they're just going for something different. To be honest.
Definitely. Well, what do you think with Neil Lennon now? Do you think it's a case he's going to move away from Scotland and get away from all this shambles? He's going to look.
I think so. Yeah. I think he's going to. Yeah, I don't know where he'll move to, but he might even move back home.
Back to Logan.
Yep, I think that's what's going to happen. Like I don't see him staying in Scotland if he doesn't need to stay in Scotland unless he got another manager job.
Do you feel like, people always say Brendan's not welcome back to Celtic Park? Some people say that. Some people say I'd welcome back. There was always this discussion that we did go on and done the 10, that you invite these people back. You think with Neil Lennon, eventually down the line, he comes back to Celtic Park, what the type of response he's going to be get by people? You're going to get these fans like, you fucked the 10 up, or you're still a living legend, Neil?
I think so. I'll take a couple of years, just like Brendan, right? Even when Brendan left, he took a better job, right? All years and see us in normal life, like us working class guys, if we get offered a better job, of course we're going to take it. If we get offered an extra £5 an hour, of course we're going to take it, man. Or an extra few grand a year. So, I mean,
he's not going to leave West Ham. He's working wonders at the moment at West Ham. And why would you leave West Ham to come to a team that you have to rebuild? I understand that Moisey's a Celtic fan. He played for Celtic. He's from Glasgow and all that, but I can't see it happening.
No, because West Ham have just moved into a new stadium for the past year, and they're playing really good at the minute. And it's obviously the system he's got them playing is working, just like the system Marino's got with Tottenham. That's gelling enough. So, I mean, if a manager is in a club that he's gelling with and he's getting on well with players, why fix something that's not broken?
Best outcome, Eddie Howe, Rafa Benitez. Worst outcome, Jack Ross.
Yeah, I'd say so.
That's or John Kennedy, permanently.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to go with John Kennedy because I think 3/4. No offence to John Kennedy, but 3/4 of the season book holders would just say, "No, I'm not interested this year."
I'm gonna touch on this as well. Do you think obviously he made this so-called resign and came the right time because they knew that crunch time was next month with renewals? They knew that if he was being kept on and if there was still doubts about his Celtic managerial career, that this would have plummeted ticket sales.
Well, I had a suspicion that something's going to be done before. I spoke to you the other week about something's going to be done before the season book ticket deadline. So, as Celtic, you've got to make sure that the product's appealing to the fans. I mean, if they kept Lennon on, then the product wouldn't be enough to convince them to keep their season book.
I still would have thought that Neil Lennon should have came out to the press and said, "Look, I'm leaving now. I want to say thank you to the fans. It's been an amazing 2 tenders at the club. It's been an amazing 20 years in any capacity. I wish he's the very best." That would have softened it today. It's still a lot of people. You can see on social media, a lot of people are upset that he's gone because he's one of our own. That's what it feels like. If he didn't have that Celtic relation, didn't manage or captain the club, or they didn't captain the club, they wouldn't. It would be just all like, he's gone. Feck him, because he's won the 10 trophies and he's 2 tenders at the club. Look, we go back to Ibrox 2-0. What a moment, the 2 moments with Samaras. He did bring the Thunder back to Celtic Park, which a lot of fans are forgetting about today. He did bring the Thunder back to Celtic Park.
Yes, you see that. I actually watched the videos on YouTube from previous games, but there's a video on YouTube. anybody that's watching, look it up. It shows, type in Neil Lennon Thunderstruck, and it will just show him saying, I'm going to get this place rocking, I'm going to bring the thunder back. And
look at Motherwell when we beat Motherwell, wasn't it? And the huddle backwards, like he did get the fans buzzing again. You know, he got the fans buzzing. As much as we have had a really disappointing season, one of the worst seasons in maybe last 22 years or so, but like these are the type of seasons where when you do really bad, you come back twice as hard, and that's what's going to happen. You know, we hopefully this is an operation rebuild for the fans, and I think fans will have to realise next season it's a patience game. If the results, we don't get into the Champions League, don't start taking down the next manager, just get behind the team, get behind that's there, and the majority of fans will, because they're Celtic fans, but you will get these glorified hunters that expect like literally the sun. Everything's the sun, like.
Yeah, see when Roy Dyler was there, I would go to games, right, and the top tiers would be shut.
Mm-hmm.
Not unless it was a big game, which wasn't really that much of an occasion with Ronnie Dyler when he was a manager. But I bet you if we played like Rangers in the cup at that time, like
would have been full capacity.
If it was a quarter final, full capacity at Celtic Park. Obviously, if it's a semi-final, a final.
It's all these girls putting the jerseys on that think they know about football and have a breeze about it. But I want to go to the pub.
I mean, fair play to them. I mean, it's a good day for them.
Hi.
If they can get a ticket, then cool. But I just don't like it when you go to the pub and you get folk that you clearly know they're just there for a piss up. They're not interested in the football.
They only know James Forrest and Scott Brown. That's about it.
That's about it, man. Or the manager.
That's it.
It's just a bit. It does get annoying, but it's just perks of being a Celtic fan. You just got to put up with folk like that. We're
going to do another 5 minutes and we'll head. It's been a good hour and a half. I have to say thank you very much to everyone that's watched on the 3 platforms. There's a little logo in the corner as well, GOK Arts. So if you want to go onto his website, GOKArts.bigcartel.com, you go onto it and you get a special code. It's for COVID at the moment, and then you'll get a discount of between, I think it's 10%, is it?
Well, this month it's 50% towards the end of February. So usually the standard Celtic prints fit on the back of my wall there. You usually get them for £20, but I mean you'll be getting them for £10 plus delivery if you type in "fuck COVID." And he also has some Peaky Blinders prints, boxing prints, MMA prints, Hibs posters even there as well. So he
does many. He even does the other side as well.
Yeah, but he also does. Do you see the Henrik Larsson one? I think it was the signed one. It was for £300. It was like the painting, but it's so.
He's done many for charity, and I know for the hospitals over there as well. I know. I know he's good friends with Brownie.
Yeah. He's if you go onto his website, you'll see like Henrik Larsson was holding one of his photos in Floyd Mayweather. He done a painting for Floyd Mayweather as well when Floyd Mayweather was in Glasgow. He actually got to meet him and he was talking to me for 5 minutes about it, but he said he was a real nice guy. I just don't like Floyd, just because I'm a big Conor McGregor fan. So,
what do you think of this one?
Give Henrik a chance. Too early yet. I think it's too early yet.
Not good enough. Not good enough. Simple as that. I don't care what people say. He's not good enough. Yeah, he's second position in Ronald Koeman at Barca. He's not done enough for me to give. And I wouldn't. And we're talking about today is about tarnished legacies and legendary statuses. Imagine Henrik Larsson goes in, doesn't get us into the Champions League or doesn't win the first derby game. Then people would be questioning as usual. No, wouldn't take. It wouldn't ruin a legend like Henrik.
Yeah, it's a shame that like we've not even
too many glorified fans. When things go wrong, they're literally blaming on everything. You know, this season it wasn't just 1 or 2 games; it was the whole lot of the season on and off the pitch that went wrong. And it wasn't. Yeah. And I'm going to say this right now: it wasn't just Neil Lennon's fault; it was the team, it was the board, it was the recruitment, it was everything. And this is why the likes of Lawwell stepped aside. Neil Lennon's resigns. You know, there's a lot, and there should be more departures to come. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. I just think that it's just been a really bad season. People just got to accept, and we've got to move on. Start fresh next season. Just get behind the team because
100%.
the team need us more than ever just now because they'll be feeling it as well. I mean, they want to be. I mean, they obviously wanted to win the 10. So I plays a legend.
Right, we're gonna leave it there. I could be back on later on, folks. Could be having another few more guests on later on around 8 o'clock. I'll have an idea around 6 o'clock what the crack is. I'm gonna come back on tonight solo. I'm gonna get people's thoughts in the comments of the whole Neil Lennon thing. How they're feeling about. Are they relieved? Are they deeply a bit? Feel like you got the raw end of the stick. Was it the right timing? A lot of Celtic fans are going to say, no, it wasn't the right timing. It should have happened a long time ago. But there's good moments there. Like, look, we didn't even get to touch about his top 10 wins. We didn't get to talk about his great results, like the Barcelona, Lazio, even winning the derby games, stuff like that. Stuff like that that's being blown out of proportion. As I said earlier on, I'm going to read out. If anyone doesn't have me on Instagram, I'm going to read out what I posted today. Liam saying, I think I've over 600 likes. I'm not fishing for more people to follow me on Instagram. I don't care. I really don't care. That's right. Organic stuff comes. Give us a second now, folks. I'll read this out now. I'm on the 3G data at the moment. 4G, sorry. So this is what I put up about Neil Lennon. I like to say whoever gives nasty comments about Neil Lennon on this page will be banned. Yes, we are all delighted he has left. It's a big stepping stone on the way to the recovery for the club. I would like to say thank you for the good memories that you brought to the club in your 2 terms as manager. It started on a rainy day at Hampden in 2011, beating Motherwell, then beating Rangers 1-0. Joe Ledley, massive game, winning 3 in a row and a Scottish Cup too in 2013. Can't forget about Barcelona. He came in 2019 when Brendan Rodgers left the club in selfish circumstances and won the treble twice. This season, you weren't up for it. Your presentation to the fans and the media wasn't great. You'll always go down as a legend. Who hates him? Get over yourself. That's the pain of football. You can't win everything. There was more good memories than bad memories after all. It was horrible to see this season how it went, but hopefully we'll come back stronger and better.
Yeah, I'd say that was a really good status from yourself.
It hurts. It hurts that it's not hurt that the way the season went. It's hurt that the way that some fans went against him. That's what I'm trying to say. What happened this season? We took everything for granted. We didn't organize ourselves. As Scott said, we had men on that pitch in the first tender of Neil Lennon's reign as Celtic manager. We didn't have many men on this pitch this season. A lot of players just thought they were too big for the ego. And Neil Lennon is one of them. Neil Lennon thought he was too big for his ego in many press conferences, the way he defended himself.
Well, Kevin Wilson was touching on something yesterday. He said that what if it wasn't a lockdown? I mean, players would still have to be going out there, but putting a game up an extra notch because there was fans there. But I mean, because there's no fans there, there's no fans getting on their back. So that came into it, I know. That came into play. But if there was fans there at the time, then obviously Ken Wilson was spot on saying that they would have had to play better. But because there's no fans there, some players were kind of getting a half-arsed attempt.
Oh, I think it's funny, when someone says something about Lennon, I know we're Celtic fans and we expect a lot, but I always say to the person but you haven't won 5 titles as a player. You haven't won 5 titles as a manager. You haven't won 5 other cups as well. You haven't beat Barcelona, so you can do the talk all you want, but it doesn't make you bigger than what Neil Lennon was at Celtic.
not at all.
You're just a number. You're just a number that buys jerseys. You know, you're just a number to the business. That's all you are. Regardless, I'm just a number to a business. You know, I think it's quite ironic that people can give this lad insults that he has done so much for that club. And I said at the start of the podcast, taking them death threats, taking that sectarian abuse. You know, he done a lot of good things. He done more things good for the club than he done bad for the club.
Yeah, and let's not forget, he's gave fans his medal. He's been really good with BJB. So, I mean, he's always interacted with fans all the time. If they've given him time of day, he's always been outside Celtic Park, and he's made sure he's got photos with him.
There will be a regret from some fans about the way they've treated him this season. There will be a regret there. You know,
see, when you put something in social media, it's there forever. So if you want to give a manager or player abuse, it's going to be there forever, and it's going to stick with you forever. I mean, that's the thing about social media now.
Like, I turned around and said, right, if Lennon was to turn this around back 3 months ago, I'd get him on my chest. I get Neil Lennon on my chest. But obviously it didn't happen. There's a lot of things that people have said this. I didn't really want to touch about this on the show, but we're going to touch on it. Should Celtic give Rangers the guard of honour at Celtic Park?
Well, I've read.
They won fair and square. They've won it fair and square. This is a bigger sports person and accept it and shake it. Like, you know, this. I know there's rivalry there and there's bitterness there, but at the end of the day, the fans are not there. So.
Yeah, I've read a few debates from different fans about it. One fan actually came out yesterday and said, well, if they were to do it, then it might change the rivalry forever. Like, it might change the rivalry forever. It might not.
I know Hearts and Celtic are not like the same bitterness, but Hearts have done it for Celtic numerous times.
I know that last time Neil Lennon came out with something like, when Rangers never gave us a guard honour, he said, well, we'd give them the guard honour. So if we didn't give them the guard honour, I think that we'd be kind of undermining ourselves in a way.
I think we look like sore losers. We're meant to be in the champions for the last 9 years and not doing it.
Yeah, it's just one of the 50-50 things, you know. Do you do it? Do you not? Just depends on the circumstances.
You know what? Because they won a fair and square this year, I'd do it. As much as I hate saying that, I'd do it. I'd do it just for the sake. Because you know what? It makes you look like, Jesus, this could have been us again. This will make us come back stronger. This will make us come back stronger next season. And that's what I think. That's my honest opinion. You look at when Hearts beat us 4-0 and Rodgers got the whole team in the middle of the pitch and done the huddle and said, look, this is fucking serious now. You felt losing. You want to come back stronger and taste it. You do it. And this is why I think I'd give them the guard of honour, because it's not like they're going to have their fans in the corner. It's like we're going to have our fans. It's going to cause eruptions. It's on television, behind closed doors. Let's suck it up and get on with it. And that's us out of our misery for the rest of the season.
Yeah, and I've never looked at it that way until you've actually said it today. So I've just realised, hold on, there's no fans. It's just 22 players on a football pitch. Give each other respect, just like they would shake hands after a game.
Like, at the end of the day, I know this is completely different circumstances, and I don't want this to blow this in any proportion. But we done our moment of silence for the Ibrox disaster and showed respect. You know, if we can show respect for something that's big and for this team that's actually won the title, look fair and square by beating us twice, or maybe they could beat us in that game or whatever, you do it.
Yeah. Show respect. I mean, we're all human beings at the end of the day. So if this is an opportunity to give your rivals a guard of honour when there's no fans in, then it could
take it. Any other time, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, I think that they get shut off the fans for it, to be honest.
No, I wouldn't do it any other time. I just think it's because it's closed doors. Why not get away with it? You know, get on with it. It's just, at the end of the day, been a tough season. You know, you've gone past you got past this routine of disappointment every Monday, stupid press conferences, stupid results, and no disrespect to St. Mirren or Ross County and all, but it's even with our bench, we should have been going out and beating them. Now the players that we had on the bench.
We should have been beating them with our Resi team. Definitely. I mean, but it's just one of the things that we've had a bad season. We've got to move on from it. We can't dwell in the past.
That's it. And I think a lot of people will hold that for ransom over Neil Lennon's head, and he doesn't deserve it.
No, it doesn't at all. Because he has been a good ambassador for the Celtic Football Club, and obviously his last few.
Do you know what could be funny about this? We could give them the guard of honor and go out and hammer them that day. Do you know this is the bigger picture here?
Yeah, I mean that could happen, but the thing is,
I know the best thing is it means that when we do go to Kiprocks, we don't actually have to deal with them, all their fans singing the shite. You know?
Yeah, there's that too. I mean, having the fans there, like at Celtic Park, even a couple of hundred at Ibrox, like we're still loud because in human Kelly are still loud. So, I mean, I'd say we've got the best fans in the world, and that's just not me with my green tinted specs. I would just say that we have got the best support in the world, and some of the players do miss the fans being there, but they've still got to get on with it. They've got a job to do, regardless whether there's fans there or not. They've got to understand that, you know.
That's a great point, Steph. You know, if COVID never happened, we'd never know how things would have turned out this year. Exactly. I think, Steph, I would have been off the Glasgow about 5 or 6 times this year on the launch. That's what I think would have happened.
Well,
you know,
well, even if it happened from them, then Steven Gerrard, he would be at a job last year, so it kind of worked in their favour.
Well, look, all we need to do is focus on those now for the next rebuilding structure. But 18 points in it. We can pull back the gap. We could play them twice. They could slip up because they could be focusing on Europe as well. You know, look, just do what we can do. Just go out for the next 8 games and win every game and show a bit of pride and test the you too.
If not, then I'll watch the Euros during the summer and try and cheer myself up a bit.
That's it. Jim from Facebook. Hail, Jim here, 60 years young. Celtic till I die. That's it. Jim's been through it. Jim has felt it. Jim has been there when we done Lisbon. We done this trophy. You know, he's been there. He's been massive thanks to Retro Celtic as well for this awesome calendar. But yeah, you know, you win some, you lose some.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've been through really bad times as a Celtic fan, especially in the 90s. And some of the 2000s, especially Helicopter Sunday. I hate saying that word. It's a bad word, but I've still been through it. I still believe
Helicopter Thursday. Time of dice.
Yeah, we've Big Jan with the header, you mean? But they don't mention that because the press don't like it when we mention it. We should
That's it.
Belly. I think we should give the boy a run of games.
100%.
Yeah, but it's good that Jim's actually been watching the channel, especially. He's supported Celtic for 60 years, man. He must have some really good stories and memories. That's
it. The plan's to get a few people on. You know, at the end of the day, we'll get different voice opinions on. Everybody's not on the same path, which is good. You know, it's very good. Right, folks, I'm going to leave it there. I have to go and do my shopping. Go do my shopping. That's it. I want to say thank you very much to everyone that watched. If you're going to watch over it, I know it's a long podcast. Give us a like on YouTube. Give us a like on Facebook. Even a star on Twitter. Just even give us a retweet on Twitter just to get the platform out there. And I should be back later on. Hopefully, I'm going to try to get a few different special guests in. I'm going to try getting onto a few people and see what they think. But massive thanks to Liam again, Scott, and to Gaz popping in, taking time out of the day to look at this and have a chat. Take care, lads. All the very best.